In the shadows of history, there were moments when lanterns simply failed and soldiers had to rely on something else, something nearly forgotten. In those desperate times, they turned to a peculiar chemical glow, a solution born from necessity and ingenuity. During the dead of night, long before reliable batteries or portable electric lights, soldiers on the front lines often faced darkness that could cost lives. Patrols, scouts and night watch units could not risk lighting a candle or striking a match. Yet survival and efficiency demanded light, even if faint. Amid these constraints, a remarkable method emerged, one almost completely lost to time, creating steady illumination using nothing more than rust and vinegar. It wasn't magic, and it wasn't guesswork. It was chemistry mastered under pressure, field-tested in conditions far harsher than most civilians today could imagine. By the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly how soldiers coaxed usable light from corroded metal and weak acid, why it worked, and how modern survivalists can safely replicate the same reaction. This isn't just historical trivia, it's a technique that still has value when modern gear fails. The method worked because soldiers used resources they already had. Every soldier's kit included items that eventually corroded, from steel canteens and bayonets to shovels and tins. Rust covered these surfaces, creating the raw material for a controlled chemical reaction. Vinegar, or similarly mild acids found in rations or medical supplies, acted as the activating agent. When iron oxide met acid, a slow exothermic reaction occurred. Hydrogen gas formed in trace amounts, and the surface of the mixture warmed gently. Soldiers discovered that when this reaction interacted with certain minerals or carbon materials like powdered chalk, gypsum or fine campfire charcoal, it emitted a faint but steady glow. This glow was not fire. It didn't spark. It produced a calm, continuous illumination that allowed for reading maps, checking instruments, or performing low-visibility maintenance without risking exposure. Soldiers used this as a fallback rather than a primary light source. The chemical glow was never intended to replace lanterns or candles. It was a low-profile, reliable solution when fuel ran out, supplies were limited, or the operational environment made flames too dangerous. The slow, controlled light gave soldiers just enough visibility to work in close quarters or on patrol. They could sustain this glow for hours with minimal maintenance, and because the reaction didn't produce open flames, it was safe in dry, flammable surroundings and avoided attracting enemy attention. Historical records and field notes indicate that soldiers prized it for its predictability. Once set up correctly, it performed consistently with only occasional attention to moisture levels. The reaction worked through a careful balance of moisture and surface contact. Creating a working unit involved crushing surface rust into a fine powder, then forming a paste with vinegar in a shallow, fireproof container such as a folded metal lid or a thick leather dish. A thin layer of powdered mineral or charcoal was added on top to interact with the reaction and emit the glow. Maintaining the paste at the right moisture level was critical. Too dry, and the reaction stalled. Too wet, and it fizzled out. Some soldiers use braided twine or rolled cloth as a structural support, not to burn, but to maintain the integrity of the mixture as it slowly reacted. Within 20 to 30 minutes, the glow became noticeable, stabilizing for 1 to 3 hours depending on conditions. Finer rust produced brighter, longer-lasting light. Modern survivalists can replicate this safely with controlled materials. Today, anyone can recreate the method using historically appropriate materials. Scrape heavily rusted steel from old tools cans or scrap metal. Avoid chemically treated or painted surfaces. Grind the rust into powder and mix with plain white vinegar to form a thick paste. Spread a thin layer of powdered chalk plaster dust or finely ground charcoal on top. Place the mixture in a shallow metal or ceramic dish outdoors, or in a ventilated space. Within half an hour, the surface begins to glow faintly. Moisture can be adjusted with small drops of vinegar, and rust can be added to strengthen the reaction if necessary. The result is a slow, ember-like illumination, perfect for map reading, close-range signalling, or, even a low-risk tent light during a blackout. The method highlights the ingenuity of soldiers in resource-limited conditions. What makes this technique remarkable is its combination of chemistry and improvisation. Soldiers used widely available materials to solve a practical problem, creating light from corrosion, weak acid, and basic minerals. It demonstrates an approach to survival that values creativity, observation, and patience. Even in a world dominated by LEDs and rechargeable batteries, situations exist where electricity fails, gear malfunctions, or cold renders electronic devices unreliable. In these circumstances, this chemical glow becomes a dependable fallback, requiring nothing but iron, oxygen, and a weak acid to operate indefinitely. This forgotten field, science, bridges history and modern survival strategy. For historians, the technique offers a rare window into the daily ingenuity of soldiers who did not accept darkness as a limitation. For survivalists, it proves that every scrap, no matter how corroded or seemingly useless, has potential. From abandoned structures to long-term off-grid scenarios, rust is plentiful, acids are accessible, and the method is repeatable. It reinforces a broader lesson of wartime ingenuity. Solutions can be found in the simplest materials when necessity demands it. If learning about this lost wartime chemical trick excites you as much as it does the rest of us at Warfront Survival, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share this guide with fellow history enthusiasts, and join us for more deep dives into the practical skills and forgotten survival methods that help soldiers endure when the odds were stacked against them.